discuss one of the, let's say, most important topics in legal medicine. And this is the topic that deals with gunshot wounds. Okay. So, sharing the screen. Can you see my slide?
Yes po.
Okay, medical legal aspects of gunshot wounds. Okay. So, when we talk about gunshot wound, of course, we have to think of the weapon that is used. And use the usual weapon used are what we call firearms, barrel, okay, boga. Okay, so it is an instrument. Based on its technical definition, it's an instrument used for the propulsion of a projectile, okay, of expansive force of gases that comes from the burning of the gunpowder. Okay? Kung walang bala yung barel ay isang blunt instrument lang. Okay? O kaya yung bullet, kundi naman siya puputok, okay, blunt object lang yun. Okay? But it has to be hit by the hammer of the firearm before it can create damage. So these are different firearms of medical legal importance. Okay, you have the handguns, which consists of pistols, revolvers, okay, and then you have rifles, which are military issued firearm. Okay, mga nakikita natin sa mga soldiers as well as policemen na may long firearms. Okay, and rifles usually described with riflings. Yung riflings na yan, these are the spiral lands and grooves inside the barrel of the gun. Yung barrel, yan yung mahaba na dinadaanan ng bala. Okay? And there are lands and grooves which are arranged spirally, and this will create that spinning, okay, characteristics of a bullet, and then of course in a straight line, and it can also travel further. Okay, while shotgun is classified as a smooth bore firearms. Ibig sabihin niyan, yung barrel nila walang riflings. Okay, so paglabas dyan ng bala ng shotgun, hindi mo masabing diretso takbo niyan, okay, or of course pang malapitan lang siya. Hindi siya pwedeng pang malayo. Okay? And then of course, yung mga submachine guns, okay? May mga tinatawag tayong mga HK or yung mga Uzi, okay? Yung mga Ingram, those are machine pistols, okay? And of course, yung pag kinalabit mo yan, it will release several bullets one after another, mabilis. Okay? Machine guns, of course, yan yung mga nakikita natin nakamount sa tripod. Okay, may mga tinatawag tayo mga iba-ibang klase din yan based on the size of the bullet. Okay? And of course, only in the Philippines, you have homemade guns. Okay? Tinatawag itong paltik, one pung, boga, or one shot. Kaya one pung lang or one shot kasi isa lang ang balang pwedeng ilagay dyan. Okay, just like in the photograph, yung mga plastic gun, naku-convert nila yan. Okay, magagaling ang Pinoy dyan. And of course, we have that Baltic gun making in Danau City, Cebu. Okay, legal doon. Okay, ito yung machine gun. Ito natin dyan, yung mga ganyan. Okay, of course, yung rifle, yung mga AK-47 or yung Armalite. Okay. Now, this is what I'm talking about, lands and grooves. Okay, so the lands and grooves differentiate a smooth bore rifle from a military issued rifles. Okay, And to accurately determine the caliber of a firearm, you have to measure the distance between two opposite lands. Yung lands, yan yung elevated part, okay? The edges of the metal between the grooves, okay? So yung groove, yun yung mga depression, okay? These are spiral cuts in a rifle bore, okay? So, and then yung cross-section ng ating barrel to gun. Ayan, okay? So nakita niyo yung arrangement yung lands and grooves. Okay? So in the study of firearms, this is what you call ballistics. Okay? Science that deals with the study of the motion of projectile, or the science that, or in forensics, it is the science of firearm identification. Okay? By examination of the ammunition fired through them. Okay? So may mga parts siya na tinatawag na internal ballistics. What happened to the bullet when it is hit by the hammer, or yung tinatawag nating firing pin. Okay, so yan yung internal ballistics. It starts when the bullet is already in the chamber, and then you pull the trigger. Okay, what happened? Okay, that is the study of what happens with the barrel of firearm from the moment the firing pin hits the primer. Okay, and then exterior or external ballistics that treats the motion of projectile after leaving the muzzle of the gun. Yung muzzle of the gun, yan yung tip. Okay, yan yung dulo ng barrel, nandun yung front side, nandoon yung yung pinakatawag na end of the barrel of the gun. That is the muzzle of the barrel. Okay? So, I mentioned it, pag external ballistics, lumabas na siya sa muzzle of the gun. So, discover factors such as the bullet shape, sectional density, atmospheric pressure, and in large caliber weapons, the rotation of their even. Okay? And then lastly, you have your terminal ballistics. Deals with the behavior of the missile once it reaches the target, or it reaches the effect of the impact of the bullet towards the target. Pag tumama yung bala doon sa target, that is what you call terminal ballistics. Okay? So those are the three parts of ballistics. So makikita nyo yung bala dyan, madi-deform. Okay? Once the bullet exited sa muzzle of the gun, it is already deformed. Kasi nga dadaan yan sa spiral landings, lands and grooves. So ano na siya? Tawag dito, meron na siyang certain deformity. Lalo na kung tumama yan sa walls, yung mga hard walls, okay? So it will become flattened. Okay? So these are the two principal components of in the study of ballistics or gunshot wounds, firearms, or cartridge or ammunition. Okay, so in revolver, we describe revolver as cylindrical with a cylindrical magazine, bilog at the rear of the barrel, and it is low velocity firearm. Yun yung tinatawag natin mga ribola, dahil yung pistol ay yung revolver, bilog yung magazine niya. Doon nilalagay yung bala. Nakita nyo sa mga security guard sa holster nila. Revolver, yan. Okay? So, may cylindrical magazine yan. And as I mentioned, it's low velocity firearm. Pang malapitan lang na at 600 feet per second ang velocity. And the shells are not ejected. It remains on the barrel of the gun, doon sa cylindrical magazine. Rather, doon sa cylindrical magazine, nandun yung mga empty shells. So you have to remove it manually pa. Unlike in pistols, these are self-loading firearms. Okay? Automatic yan, nag-eject yung empty shells are ejected, and another bullet will enter the chamber. And of course, meron siya tinatawag na magazine. Okay? May magazine dyan, and a pistol is considered as high velocity firearm with a muzzle velocity of 1,200 feet per second. Okay? While a rifle, as I mentioned, yung mga military issued, yan yung long barrel with a butt, yung nasa end ng hindi yung barrel yung nasa harapan, yung sa dulo niya, yung part na yan, yung inilalagay mo sa shoulder. Okay? Usually made up of hard plastic or wood. Okay? And rifles are high velocity firearm. 2,500 feet per second yan. And longer yung range niya. Kaya nga may tinatawag tayo sniper rifles. Okay? Shotgun, of course, yan yung mga hindi mo na i-determine yung caliber niyan. Yung gauge ang tawag doon. Yung gauge ng bala na gagamitin. Okay, so the projectile is a collection of lead pellets and this varies in sizes. May tinatawag tayong gauge na 12 shotgun. Okay, meron tayong ginagawa 18 gauge, 22 gauge shotgun. Okay, and of course, yung typical characteristic niya is smooth bore. Okay? Cartridge or ammunitions, or we call it a cartridge shell. Yan yung pinaglalagyan ng bullet. Okay? Cylindrical structure with a base that houses the powder. Okay? Sa loob ng shell niyan, okay, yung primer, yung propellant, and then of course sa tip niyan, yung bullet or slug. Okay? So ito yung mga different types na mga bullets. Okay? These are different types ranging from 9mm parabellum or yung mga Russian-made Tokarev, tapos yung mga 357, 9mm, and of course yung 40, caliber 40 and 45. Okay? Comparing it to a AA pa yan, na battery, okay, you can easily distinguish it. Okay? So bullets are usually composed mainly of alloy, lead, and copper. Okay, yung mga sa rifle, yung mga bala niyan, usually they are pointed. Okay, they are pointed. Okay? Or conical, yung mga sa mga pistols or revolver. Okay? May mga tinatawag din tayo particular bullets like yung mga armor piercing bullets. Okay? So the primers, these are located at the base of the shell. Yan yung sa kulay stainless yan or chrome. Okay? Yan yung this is what the part of the bullet that is usually hit by the firing pin. Okay? And this will explode, create a chemical reaction, which will react with the propellants. Okay? Very sensitive to heat, shock, or friction. Okay? Usually, these are the ones deposited on the dorsal aspect of your firing hand. And yan, tinatawag natin gunpowder residues. And then you have the propellant. This will produce the gas to propel the bullet. You will push. And of course, bullets, of course, to let's say, to be effective after how many years, meron silang stabilizers. Okay? It retards the decomposition of the bullet. Kaya even 10 years, even 20 years, this can still be fired. Okay? Now, characteristics of the movement of the bullet as it moves out of the muzzle of the gun. Okay? So, generally speaking, the bullet will move forward movement. Okay? This depends upon the propulsion created by the ignition of the propellant. Okay? And of course, in a rifled firearm, spinning movement due to the passage to the spiral landings and groupings of the barrel. Tumbling movement and over and rotation, the bullet may be rotating on the long axis of its flight while the nose and base are alternating. Okay? Pwede yan mangyari sa shotgun. Pwede rin mangyari yan sa mga homemade guns. Okay? Wobbling, or what we call tail wag, rear end of the bullet aside from spinning, may also vibrate vertically or sidewise in each flight. Okay? Same, we usually observe that sa homemade guns, wobbling. Okay? Pull of gravity. As the bullet is moving forward, when it reaches its maximum distance, this will slowly or gradually goes downward because of the pull of gravity. Okay? Okay, now we go to gunshot wound. It is an injury caused by the missile propelled by the explosion of the gunpowder. Okay, it is the wound caused by a bullet that was fired from a firearm. And this is accompanied, the bullet as it comes out, this is accompanied by a jet of flame that can travel from contact to 3 to 6 inches away. Okay? Cloud of gas, gunpowder, and burning or unburned grains, this can travel further, okay, from contact up to 24 inches away. Soot or carbon, yung maitim na smudges that will get, let's say, it will be present on the skin. Okay, this can travel up to from contact up to 6 to 12 inches away. So the presence of these substances will determine if the gunshot wound was fired near, or let's say hard contact, okay, or let's say near contact or distant fire. Okay, this is an example of a hard contact gunshot wound. Okay, so you consider the presence of we call it tattooing or peppering yan. Okay, ready. And then the depression you see in front of the wound is what you call muzzle imprint. Muzzle imprint. Kasi once you press the gun on the head or on the surface, once you fold it, it will cause depression on that entrance wound. Okay, of course, the gray discoloration on the polar is what you call abrasion polar or contusion polar. And of course, andyan yung mga burnt hairs around it. Okay, the part of the body contains hair, there will be singeing of the hair. Okay, so this is how we do experiments with firearms. So you can see there the flame, the smoke, and then the explosion that happened inside the firearms, just like a revolver. The other one is a pistol. Okay, flame, smoke, and gunpowder residues. Okay. Now, the classification of gunshot wounds. You have contact, hard contact. You have seen it already. And loose contact gunshot wound. Near contact, intermediate, and distant fire. Okay. So in contact fire, you will see that the edges of the wound are burnt, sunog. Okay, the entrance wound may also be round or stellate in appearance. Stellate in appearance. Okay, there will be presence of if there is a hair, if there part of the body is contains hairs, there will be singeing or burning of the hairs. Of course, yung smudging, makikita nyo yan. Yan yung black smudges doon sa entrance wound. And then you see tattooing, also called stippling or peppering. And the muzzle imprint, which can be seen in hard contact gunshot wound. Okay? Yan. Ito yung stellate entrance wound. Okay na. They are commonly mistaken by doctors to be exit wounds. But actually, this is also a hard contact gunshot wound caused by revolver. So, revolver yung nasa itaas na yan. Tinutok dito sa matanda, kaso ko to eh. Under this case, when the old woman was robbed and then killed by the security guard. And the guard pressed his issued revolver sa forehead, creating that escalate entrance wound. While the other one is a suicidal gunshot wound on the left temple. Okay? So, kita nyo rin yun nakapress. Okay, so sa hard contact gunshot wound, as I mentioned, you will see muzzle imprint. There's complete seal between the muzzle and skin on discharge. Okay? Kumbaga, walang space in between the muzzle of the gun and the skin. Okay, so muzzle imprint, as I mentioned earlier, these are impression of the muzzle burned around the entrance wound. Okay, and usually it rip apart the skin around the entrance wound. Okay, loose contact, these are observed at close range at 6 to 12 inches. Entrance wound surrounded by fouling or soot. Okay, so merong space in between the muzzle of the gun and the skin. So this is the appearance of smudging. Okay, you see the black discoloration there? Those are what you call smudging or smudges. Present up to 12 inches away. Contact up to 12 inches. But it can easily be wiped off with a wet cloth. Punasan mo lang yan, mawawala. Okay? Dito, mas konti yung smudging. Okay? Intermediate or near-fire gunshot wound, these are, the range is around 12 to 24 inches away. So, yan yung mga within arm's length, binaril mo. Okay? What you can see there are powder tattooing. Ito, ang dami niyang powder tattooing. Okay? He was shot while seated, and then the assailant is at the back, okay, when he fired his gun, okay. These are punctuate abrasions due to the powder grains from the muzzle of the gun. Yan yung mga gunpowder residues, okay. So it cannot be wiped away. It is already embedded on the skin, okay. Unlike yung smudges. Distant gunshot wound, you will not see any muzzle imprint or smudging or singeing of the hair or tattooing. Okay, you can clearly see the circular or round or oval shape of the entrance wound. Okay, what is prominent here is to differentiate it from a gunshot wound of exit is the presence of abrasion collar. So, di ba? Pale siya. Skin is almost white. This is your abrasion collar. Can only be seen on a gunshot wound of entry. Okay? And the contusion collar is caused by the indentation of the skin as the bullet passes through the skin. It is not due to the heat or the spinning movement of the bullet. Okay? So these are example, different shape of gunshot wounds. Okay. Now, in some cases, a distant fire will produce a gunshot wound of exit. Okay, so you see there's a laundry wire inserted. This is a case I handled when I was with the United Nations peacekeeping mission. Okay, and the guy was shot in the leg with a sniper rifle, and you see there a very small entrance wound. Okay, just to differentiate it from the size of the laundry wire, almost the same size. Yeah. So the bigger the caliber of the firearm or the rifle, the smaller the entrance wound. Kasi pointed yung kanilang bala. It will only create a very small. Usually, ang measurement niyan, 0.4 to 0.5 centimeters. Okay? But, on the opposite side, it can create a huge damage. Yung exit niya, ang laki. And of course, definitely fracture yung tibia and fibular bones yan. Okay? So, distant fire. Okay? Another example, okay, of the same different person, okay? The guy was hit on the left side of the face. Okay, actually there were four gunshot wound there and only two gunshot wound of exit. Dalawa exit niya. So we have to determine which gunshot wound of entry exited to the two exits. Okay, so by probing them, inserting, in this case, a laundry wire, improvised, we can determine where the bullet exited. One exited at the right eyeball or right orbital region, and three gunshot wounds of entry exited sa right mandibular area. Okay. So, tawag doon common gunshot wound of exit. Okay. So, as students and future clinicians or doctors, you should be able to differentiate what is a gunshot wound of entry and what is a gunshot wound of exit based on these 11 characteristics I have collated. Okay? So the size of the gunshot wound of entry, you have seen it is usually smaller than the bullet or missile, owing to the elasticity of the muscle and skin. Once the bullet passes through it, lumiliit na yung magkocontract yan. And it will create a very small entry pag pumasok. An exit wound, you have seen it on the previous slide, how huge it is, usually bigger than the bullet or larger than the bullet or missile. Okay? But there are certain conditions when the gunshot wound of entry might be bigger than the bullet or missile. Okay, there are five. Okay, one, in hard contact fire. Malaki yung entrance wound dyan than the bullet itself. If the bullet measures 1 centimeter in diameter, the entrance wound might be 1.2 or 1.3 or even larger, lalo na kung mga rifles. Okay? Hard contact fire. Second, if the bullet hits a hard object before hitting the target. Binaril mo, tumama sa pader yung bala, nag-bounce off, tumama sa target. Kasi flatten yung bala niyan. Okay? So, malaki yung entrance wound. Just like in indiscriminate firing and the bullet entered let's say, the house, tumama sa roof, ceiling, and then it hits the target. Okay? Malaki entrance wound. Third, acute angular approach of the bullet. Okay? Acute angle, pumasok siya 30 degrees or 45 degrees. The shape will be ovaloid and it will create a bigger opening. Okay? Fourth, when there is what you call common gunshot wound of entry. Okay? The bullet entered, example, in the right side of the cheek, and another bullet entered on that right side of the cheek on the same entry. Definitely, it will be bigger than the bullet itself, yung entrance wound. And fifth, of course, when the bullet create a common gunshot wound of entry and exit. Pumasok siya doon, tapos doon din siya lumabas. It happens when a victim is shot in the head, tumama, tapos tumama sa temporal or parietal bones, then it bounced up and it exited sa gunshot wound of entry. Definitely, it will be bigger. And six, may six pa pala, when the bullet enters sideways or sidewise, may mga palagbag na bala. Sa halip na diretso, palagbag dahil paltik yung gamit niya. Okay? So those are conditions where the entry of the gunshot wound of entry is bigger than the bullet or missile. Okay? Based on the shape, as I mentioned it, round, oval, stellate, or even star-shaped gunshot wound of entry. The gunshot wound of exit will exhibit no definite shape. Okay? The edges of the wound, yan, favorite yan sa board exam, the edges of a gunshot wound of entry is usually inverted or inward. Diba? Kasi yung skin, papasok yung bala, it will push the skin inward. So the edges of the wound is classified as inverted. Okay? While sa exit wound, palabas yung bala, it will push the skin outward, inverted. Tandaan nyo yung characteristics na yan. Inverted and inverted edges. And then the presence of contusion collar, also called abraded collar, contuso abraded collar, or marginal abrasions, these are always present sa gunshot wound of entry. Okay? And the gunshot wound of exit will have no contusion collar. Always absent except for one condition. I will show you later. Okay, tinatawag yon na short gunshot wound of exit. Okay, singeing or searing or burning of hairs, they are part of the body with hairs like the scalp. May in the gunshot wound of entry, present yan. Okay, in contact or near fire within a distance of 3 to 6 inches. Okay, but it is always absent sa exit. Smudging, soot, or smoke, yan yung mga smudges na makikita natin, may be present in contact and or near fire within a distance of 6 to 12 inches. Okay? So, yung usok, medyo malayo ang natatravel. O absent din yan sa exit, tattooing, peppering, or stippling. Okay, these are your gunpowder residues may be present in contact or near fire within a distance of up to 24 inches, 2 feet away. Kaya kung binaril mo, kaharap mo sa table, within 2 feet, meron dyan tattooing. Okay? Of course, you will not see that on the gunshot wound of exit. Of course, yung muzzle imprint may be present when the muzzle is pressed on the skin surface, yung hard contact gunshot wound. Of course, you will not see that on the gunshot wound of exit. Okay? Presence of the wound, of course, it is always present after firing. Tumama sa target, that is a gunshot wound of entry. Okay? Gunshot wound of exit may be absent. Okay? When is the gunshot wound of exit absent? One, when the bullet is lodged inside the body. Hindi siya lumabas. Tumama siya sa buto, naiiwan na sa loob. Okay? Tawag natin doon. It is embedded inside the body. Second condition is when the bullet exited through natural openings. Binaril mo sa nape, lumabas sa mouth. So there is no gunshot wound of exit unless you dissect the oral cavity. That is where you are going to see the vital reaction there. Okay, so it is absent then. Third, when the bullet creates a common gunshot wound of exit. Diba? Kung kamukha kanina yung sa right jaw, tatlo yung bala na dumaan doon. So it creates a common gunshot wound of exit. And of course, wala rin yung exit natin kung there is a common gunshot wound of entry and exit. Okay? In some cases, in some books, in hard contact gunshot wound, okay, pwedeng walang exit wounds yan. Walang exit wounds. Kasi the bullet, when it exited sa muzzle of the gun, has not reached or has not built up its momentum. Wala pa siya, bumubuelo pa lang, tumama na siya sa parietal bone dyan o temporal bones, tapos pagpasok sa loob, tumama sa brain, then tumama doon sa opposite bones. So, in hard contact gunshot wound, we seldom see an exit wound. So, absent siya. Okay, so those are conditions where the gunshot wound of exit may be absent. Okay, underlying tissues. These are the tissue underneath the skin. Okay, so in the entry, you will not see any protruding tissues. Walang tissue dyan na makikita. Okay, kasi papasok yung skin niya, inverted niya, no, inward. Sa exit wound, may be seen protruding niya. Kaya makikita mo sa exit wound, may lumalabas na brain substance o sa abdomen, pwedeng yung mga muscle tissues, lumalabas dyan sa exit wound. Okay? And then the last characteristics is paraffin test. It is the test to determine the presence of gunpowder nitrates. Okay? So, if you use guns like revolver or yung mga old pistols that have loose slides na, okay, mga gastado na sila, possible dyan na magkaroon ng nitrates. But sa revolver, sigurado yan. Kasi open chamber yung revolver, pag pumutok yan, it will be embedded on your with hypothenar aspect. Okay? Because this is your trigger finger, the residue will be embedded more here in the thumb and index finger. Okay? This is where we usually concentrate our paraffin test. Okay? So, maybe positive yan sa entry. Of course, negative yan sa exit wound. Yung mismong gunshot wound din, tinetest din ng paraffin yan to determine if it is contact or distant fire. Kasi kung malapitan yan, may residues na natin tattooing. So, it can be tested also for paraffin test. Okay? So, these are the different characteristics that distinguish gunshot wound of entry from exit. Okay? Now, some classification, some different types of gunshot wound, it may be in the form of a graze gunshot wound. Okay? Kung inaral nyo yung sa gunshot wound na yung physical injury natin, nandyan din yung graze gunshot wound na slide. Okay? So, the bullet travels across the skin at a very shallow angle and you can only see an elongated abrasion without entering the body or okay, hindi rin siya nag-enter. So, it is considered a surface wound. Daplis lang. Tawag na sila yung mantin. Daplis lang ng bala yan. So, hindi ka mamamatay dyan. The bullet does not pierce the flesh although the skin may be broken. Flesh wound. Kaya tawag yan. Okay? Tangential gunshot wound is that the bullet parallels the surface of the skin. Okay? So, yung shallow wound natin that extend down to your subcutaneous tissue. And it usually points to the direction the bullet was traveling. Okay? So, tangential gunshot wound to the head are gunshot wounds in which bullet fragments do not penetrate the inner table of the skull. So, an example of this is case I handled before is that this carnapping suspect or master, the head of the carnapping group was shot in let's say in an entrapment done by the SWAT of National Capital Region. Nangyari yan sa EDSA corner Buendia. Okay? Or Ayala. I think Ayala. Okay? Corner at the EDSA corner. Okay? So the guy was shot by the SWAT team on the head. Okay? Tinamaan siya, pumasok dito. Okay? And lumabas sa likod. Okay? So the guy lost consciousness. Okay? And the SWAT team thought that he was already dead. Kala nila patay na. Okay, so dating ng media, and then they took photographs, and then napansin nila humihinga pa yung suspect. They're still breathing. So sinabi ng mga nakakita, witnesses, hey, the guy is still alive. So gulat yung SWAT. Yun lang ang tama kasi. So dinala nila sa hospital. Okay? So the guy was brought to the nearest hospital. Of course, but he was declared dead on arrival. DOA. So I did the autopsy and that evening, and when I saw the injuries of the suspect, of course, hindi pumasok yung bala sa ulo, so walang bleeding dyan. The cause of death was actually asphyxia by strangulation. Okay, diba? So I even called the director of the National Capital Region. Hey, sir, pakisabi doon sa mga tauhan nyo, iba ang cause of death niya, hindi gunshot wound. It is due to strangulation. Sinakal nila hanggang mamatay. Okay, the team were all investigated and they were dismissed from the service. Okay? So ito yung mga common tangential wound sa kamay. Okay? Sinangga mo yung bala, tinakpan mo yung mukha mo, then the bullet will pass through your palm of your hand, pwede mag-exit yan, o pumasok dito sa ulnar side, ano ba siya sa thumb side o radial side, tangential wound yan. Okay? Ricochet, these are very rare occurrence. The entrance wound is usually larger. Yan isa sa kondisyon na malaki entrance wound. Irregular in shape. Okay? And the large irregular areas of abrasion around the entrance wound. Okay? Yung ricochet bullets, dahil tumama yan sa isang hard wall, the tip of the bullet is usually flattened. Okay? Mirror-like surface. Tawag dyan. Okay? So, tumama sa wall, nag-bounce, tapos tumama sa target. Yun ang tatawag natin, ricochet gunshot wound. Okay? Now, shotgun wounds. Okay? So, these are smooth bore firearm, and it can fire multiple pellets down the barrel. Okay? Especially dun sa ulo, kumukha niya, gunshot wound to the head, a shotgun wound to the head. Okay? And you see there the brain was removed, or let's say it was pushed outward or outside the cranial cavity. Pumunta sa paa. Okay? Ganyang kalakas yan. Okay? So these are how we study shotgun wounds, and you see there the different types of pellets inside these plastic wads ng mga shotgun casing. Okay? So, mas mataas yung gauge niya, mas maliliit yung pellets. Okay? So, let's say, yung 12 gauge shotgun natin, yung issue dyan sa mga security guards, malalaki yung pellet niya. And based on experience, if a guy was shot by a 12 gauge shotgun, I usually recover 9 metal pellets. Okay? Yung susunod dyan, madami ng masyado. Lalo na yung mga tinatawag nating mga 22 gauge, yan, marami na silang pellets yan. Okay? Kaya pag tumama sa tao yan, ang dami. But in contact shotgun wounds, it will only create one circular entrance wound. Kamukha niya sa chest. Okay? So, binaril siya, nakahiga siya ng barilin ng shotgun. Circular in configuration, measurement yan around 3 to 4 centimeter. And beneath that, anong tatamaan niya dyan sa center of the chest? The heart. You consider the heart, which was already destroyed by the pellets. Diyan makukuha mo lahat yung kung 9 pellets, kung 12 gauge yan. Okay? And you can observe also, wala tayong nakita dyan mga tattooing or peppering. Okay? Wala sa shotgun. Okay? So at 4 feet, 1 inch diameter, may mga scattered satellite holes na. And of course, at 10 feet away, ganyan yung mga maliliit na gauge 22. Okay? Rugged central holes surrounded by numerous pellet holes. Okay? And at distant gunshot wound, sometimes they are mistaken by doctors, multiple gunshot wounds ang ilalagay nila. And later on, you will learn that the victim was shot by a shotgun. So, isang beses lang siya pinutukan, pero dahil distant fire, maraming entrance wound. So, in that case, you have to recover the metal pellets there and just conclude that this was a shotgun wound. Isa lang yun, shotgun wound. Okay, kung marami yan, hanggang likod, meron pa, yan, pwedeng multiple shotgun, shotgun cartridge ang pinutok. Okay? By the way, in contact fire pala ng shotgun, we can still recover the plastic that envelope the gauge sa loob. Ang tawag doon, yung plastic wad. Plastic wad is usually recovered in contact fire. Okay? One proof also that the firearm use is a shotgun. Okay? So, in determining the trajectory, you have to determine the shape of the wound, shape, distribution of the contusion collar. Yung contusion collar kasi kung saan siya widest, it means that the bullet entered to that side. Okay? So, kung uniform naman yung contusion collar, okay, let's say 0.1 cm uniform, they distributed, it means that directly in front or directly at the back. Pagka mababa, nasa lower, widest at the inferior side, yung contusion collar, means the bullet came from below. Pwede siyang nakahiga na, nasa may paa, feet side yung ating assailant when he was shot. Or, kung galing sa itaas, lalo na yung mga ambuscades na sa itaas yung babaret, widest yung contusion collar sa superior part. Okay? And of course, you have to probe the wound para makita mo kung saan siya lumabas. Okay? So in the examination of the gunshot wound, you measure the length and the width. Okay? Describe the shape and then characteristics. Okay? And of course, the gunshot wound of exit are also measured. Beware also that there are some gunshot wounds that exhibits re-entry gunshot wounds. May mga re-entry gunshot wounds din yan. Okay? And then this is how you measure gunshot wound of and hindi lang na gitna ito na gulong. Okay? So you only measure the gunshot hole. Yung gunshot hole lang. Okay? Not measuring the contusion collar. Now, these are three special considerations of bullets. Okay? You have a souvenir bullet wherein the bullet has been lodged and has remained inside the body. Okay? Kaya matagal na siya naka-embed doon. So, fibrous tissue already envelop the bullet itself. Okay? Kung wala namang untoward effects dyan, pwede namang iwanan. Lalo na yung mga bullet na naka-embed sa vertebra. Okay? Vertebrae. Once you remove it, it will cause spinal cord injury. So, hindi mo natatanggalin. Okay? Bullet migration. The bullet is not lodged where it was previously located. Example, the victim was shot in the stomach, and due to the movement of the stomach, the bullet was pushed towards the small or up to the large intestine. Or sa big blood vessels. Okay? Tumama sa aorta, okay? And then, nagpump pa yung heart, na-push siya sa abdominal part. So, this is what we call the bullet embolism. And this bullet block the blood supply on certain smaller blood vessels. So, may mga kakaroon ng sudden loss of function on the area supplied. Okay? Bullet embolism. And lastly, yung tandem bullet. Two or more bullets leaving the barrel one after the other. Yan yung sinasabi kong malaki yung entrance wound. Okay? Tumama yung bala sa same entrance wound. Common yan sa mga automatic fire, sa mga submachine guns. Okay? Two or more bullets leaving the barrel one after the other. Tandem bullet. Okay? Now, the odd and even rule of gunshot wound. So, malabas din yan sa board exam. Where do you use the odd and even rule? Okay? So, the odd and even rule states that if the number of gunshot wound of entrance and exit found on the body of the victim is even, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, presumption is that no bullet is lodged in the body. Walang balang naiwanan kasi paris-paris na. Nakita mo, 5 tama sa harap, 5 ang tama sa likod. We presume that there is no bullet left inside the body. But if the number of gunshot wound of entrance and exit is odd in number, the presumption is that one or more bullets might be lodged inside the body. Okay? Diba? Let's say 3, 5, 7, 11, 9. Kita tayo dito, 3 tama. Entrance, tapos sa likod, 2 ang exit wounds. So, possibility, 1 bullet is lodged inside the body. So, maghahanap tayo ng bala dyan. So, that is the odd and even rule in gunshot wound. Now, this is the exception I mentioned on your distinction between a gunshot wound of entry and exit. Sabi ko daw, yung contusion collar, nakalagay daw always absent with one exception. Okay? So, ito yung tinatawag na short gunshot wound of exit. It is produced when the outstretched skin is impaled, sandwiched, and crushed between outgoing bullet and the unyielding object is over the exit side. The wound is circular with abrasion collar on the margin. Paano nangyari yan? Nakahiga ka sa simento, sa floor, binaril ka pa. So yung bala, diretso pumasok sa katawan, kaya lang hindi siya makalabas dahil merong hard cement flooring. Okay? So, what happened, the bullet is sandwiched between the cemented floor and the skin. So the wound will be circular with simulating a contusion fallout. Ganon din yung mga bullet na tumama sa waistline, naka-leather belt ka, hindi lumabas sa likod, naipit doon sa belt. Okay? So it will also create a circular entry, and then it will also have a simulation of a contusion. Okay? So that is your short gunshot wound of exit. Okay? Now, gunshot residue examination, or what we call gunpowder determination. Okay? These are traces of material that remain after the use of firearm using a gunpowder ammunition. Okay? Body parts close to the fired weapon may have residues. Okay? And ito yung test natin. Okay? Iba-iba name yan. During every board exam, iba yung ginagamit nilang terms. Okay? So far, ito yung mga pangalan yan. Paraffin test, thermal nitrate test, lungs test, DPA stands for diphenylamine test. Okay? And then lastly, Gonzalez test. They all mean the same thing. It determines the presence of gunpowder nitrates. So it also used in determining distance determination. Okay? So saan natin ginagamit yan? Kadalasan sa kamay. Suspect ka sa pagpapuputok ng baril, you will be subjected to paraffin test. Okay? Ganyan yan, close, lalagyan niya ng layers of paraffin wax. Yung paraffin wax, yun yung ginagamit sa candle making. Okay? So it's solid, but it can be liquefied by boiling them. Pag nag-liquefy na yan, you apply it on the dorsal surface of the skin. Sabi ko, concentrate between the index and the thumb. Okay? So, you test it, layers. Kung minsan naglalagay pa kami dyan ng reinforcement, yung thin layer of gauze or cotton. Then we pour the rest on the paraffin wax. 15 minutes, it will solidify. You can pull out the hands doon sa paraffin. Nakapatong yan sa bond paper in a flat surface. Okay? So, paraffin test on the dorsum of the hand can be done within 72 hours or less. After 72 hours, hindi na ginagawa yan because definitely wala nang paraffin, wala nang residue dyan. Okay, there will be no more residue present. Okay? Of course, yung baril na nakuha sa'yo, itetest din niya. Swabbing. Swab the barrel, the muzzle of the gun, the chamber. Okay? Cotton swab yan. Itetest din niya ng paraffin. Ang reagent na ginagamit, by the way, is diphenylamine reagent. And sa damit, sa clothes. Okay? Pwede mong lagyan yan ng paraffin wax and then test also kung merong residues. Okay? And of course, sa gunshot wound itself. As I mentioned, yung circular na yan, cover mo lang yan ng paraffin wax. Pag nag-solidify yan, test the inner side of that paraffin. Nagiging na siyang paraffin cast. Okay? So ito yung positive paraffin test. The diphenylamine reagent will give dark blue specks with tailings. Kasi yung inside ang itetest mo dyan. Ito. Kasi kinover mo yan, then yung inside niyan, you put DPA, droplets. Be careful, it's a highly corrosive substance. Okay? And then you will see there dark blue specks falling on the paraffin cast. Non-specific yan, sabi nga nung iba dyan, obsolete na yan, but it can still be used as a corroborative evidence. Okay? So, composition of the DPA, 0.5 grams diphenylamine crystals, then 80 ml of concentrated sulfuric acid plus 20 ml water. Acid to water. Kundi sasabog yan. Pag nilagay mo yung water sa acid, puputok yan. It should be acid to water. Okay? Other tests for gunpowder nitrates, okay, yan yung grease test, wherein they use sulfanilamide and naphthalene in acidic medium. Okay? And it utilizes color chemistry as well and distinguishes gunshot residue patterns. Okay? So primarily, it is used in determining distance between a gun and its target. And then you have sodium rhodisonate test, presumptive test for nitrates as well, and presence of any lead doon sa residue, magpa-positive yan. Okay? Walker's test is the use of naphthalene, same with grease test yan, and kaya lang gumagamit sila ng photograph paper. Okay, red coloration when nitrate ions are present. And the most accurate test is by scanning electron microscopy with energy dispersive X-ray spectrometry. So, meron tayo niyan na ginagamit natin scanning electron microscopy. So, it focuses on the inorganic elements present in ammunition formulation, particularly heavy metals, flame or graphite furnace atomic absorption spectrometry. Okay? So, scanning electron microscopy. Yan ang pinaka-accurate test for gunpowder nitrates. Okay? Bakit nga sila considered as obsolete na? Because it can produce false positive result. Like for if a user of a fertilizer, yung mga ammonium nitrites ang gamit nila, yung mga agriculturist or farmer, it will produce positive test. Okay? And if you work in an explosive factory, ganun din, magpa-positive ka rin. Tobacco, gumamit din ng ammonium nitrate as fertilizer. Okay? In a match factory, gawa ng posporo, pwede ka mag-positive dyan. And food samples, which are treated also with fertilizer. Kaya nga kailan nililinis mabuti yan. Pwede ka mahawak ka ng mga vegetable which was just harvested, possible na magpa-false positive result. Okay. And then, meron ding false negative results. Okay. So, if the assailant used thick leather gloves, okay, may mga thick leather gloves siya, nagamit ka ng ganitong gloves, okay, yeah, thick leather gloves. So, mag-negative ka dyan, okay. So, thick leather gloves. Next, direction of firing. Pag nagpaputo ka pataas, okay, residues will be embedded on the dorsum of the hand. Okay? Positive yon. Pero kung pababa yung baril mo, papatayin mo, nakahiga na, residues will not be embedded on the skin. So, direction of firing. Okay? And then wind velocity. The stronger the wind, the less ang residues na tatangay ng hangin niya. They are blown away by the wind. And I have experienced that in one encounter I attended, and the suspects also fired their guns, but because of the strong wind at that time, negative sila sa paraffin test. Okay, the type of firearm, comparing it, kung gumamit ka ng pistol, isa revolver, mas positive yung revolver. Okay, pero kung pistol lang ginamit mo, bago, hindi loose yung kanyang mga mechanism, negative yan. Kadalasan pagka pistol, nagne-negative yan. Okay? And then, if the paraffin test was done after 72 hours. May mga ganyan tayo, mga culprits. May mga congressman, Meron pa tayong sumuko yun. Sabi niya, hindi siya pumatay sa asawa niya. Congressman siya at that time. Namatay na rin to. Nagpaparapin test siya. Definitely negative. Murder suspect sa Maureen Haltman, Claudio Tehanque Jr., sumuko din yan 5 days after. Gusto niya iparapin test niya with media. Definitely nag-negative yan. Okay? And the length of the barrel. Kung mga rifle ang gamit mo, walang didikit na residue sa kamay. So definitely negative yan. Okay? And kung meron ding struggle, nag-agawan kayo sa baril. Okay? And during the struggle, the gun fired. Napunta yung residue doon sa biktima. Okay? Naghihina na rin siya. Doon napunta yung mga residue sa kamay niya. Nag-positive siya. Sasabihin ngayon ng defense, no, negative sa parapin test yung aming client. So, hindi siya ang bumaril. Ang bumaril, yung biktima. Struggle in the possession of fire. These are factors that will affect the positivity or negativity of a parapin test. Okay. Ayan yan. Okay. Type of caliber, length of the barrel, direction of firing, wind direction, use of gloves, and if it was done 72 hours after. Okay. So this is how we do parapin casting. Ito yung murder suspect, an NPA commander who was shot in the shoulder, and then he was arrested. So ginawa namin sa bedside yung parapin testing. Double murder case niya. So, ayan, yung parapin wax poured into the skin and then pull out yan. Tetest natin yung inner side ng parapin cast. Okay? So, that's how we do parapin casting. Okay. Now, next topic is explosion or blast injuries. Okay? So, an explosion is a sudden release of potential energy producing a localized increase in pressure. Okay? So, when an explosion occurs, there's generation of huge volume of gas expanded by chemical interaction. Okay? At the origin, yung ground zero, this is many times the speed of sound, and then as you go outward, rapidly slows down. And the blast effects alone will cause physical fragmentation, laceration, and even burns. Yeah. Yan ang mga epekto niyan. Burns, both near effects and secondary conflagration. Missile injury, yung mga bomb casing or yung mga tinatawag nating mga spike bombs, nilagyan nila mga nails, broken glasses, this can cause missile injuries. Okay? In some cases, kung mga bomb yan sa buildings, injuries might be due to collapse of building walls, roofs, or ceiling. Okay? Excuse me. Kung gumamit naman ng sasakyan, vehicular damage or destruction. Okay? Yung mga tinatawag nating car bombs. Okay? So, explosive is any chemical compound or mixture that goes under the influence of heat, pressure, friction, or shock, undergoes sudden chemical change or decomposition. Okay? Ito yung classification niyan. Based on the velocity of reaction, it may be high explosives. Speed of detonation is greater than 1,000 meter per second, equals thousands of atmosphere. Low explosive rate of its decomposition is relatively slow process, and the wave produced is less than the speed of sound. According to application, yan yung mga military explosive and then yung mga homemade explosive. Sa military kasi, common yan, yung mga RDX and then C4. Pag naririnig yung C4, parang clay yan. Similar to a clay. Consistency niyan, and this is a very high explosives. Okay? And then others include the TNT, trinitro, toluene, Yung mga dynamites kasama yan. Yan. Okay, C4, TNT, yung RDX, ayun. And then, yung, this one, itong may smoke na ito sa Lebanon yan, sa Port of Lebanon, where it houses these lots of ammonium nitrates na yan. Okay? Kasi yung fertilizer can be used also as a form of explosive ingredients. Okay? So, industrial explosives, kadalasan ginagamit mga dynamites, nitroglycerin, or ammonium nitrate explosives. Yan yung fertilizer, lalagyan mo lang yan ng mga detonators and switch, and then this can also cause explosion. Yan yung ANFO na tinatawag. And the last type is homemade or improvised explosive. Okay. Classification of explosion, it may be mechanical or hydraulic explosion. Sumabog yung air pressure tanks, water pressure tanks, yan, or air pump kerosene, yung ginagamit ng mga nagluluto ng fishbowl before. Yan. Electrical explosion, yan yung mga lightning. Okay? Nuclear explosion, of course, yan yung mga atomic bomb explosion. And chemical explosion due to chemical reaction between heat and gas. Okay? So, there are two types of chemical explosion, yung tinatawag na diffuse reactant explosion. So, ito yung mga mixture of gas and air. Pag nag-start ka ng car, internal combustion engine, that is a diffuse reactant explosion. Yung condensed reactant explosion naman, of course, when large quantity of heat and gas is produced, and this will result to rapid chemical reaction in a solid or liquid medium. Diba? May tinatawag tayong low order explosive, or we call it deflagrating explosives, rely on the burning and confinement to produce explosion, like gunpowder explosion. Yung high order explosives, yan yung mga dynamite. It detonates, this can be stable or unstable high explosive. And an example of this is your dynamite. Okay? Ito yung improvised explosive devices, or IED. Okay? It is also known as roadside bomb due to its contemporary use. Okay? Ginagamit kasi yan, tinatanim nila yan sa karsada. Okay? Ganito yan. Pagka pinaraan mo yung mga military, aambusin mo yon. Habang inaambus mo yun, may nagtatanim dyan ng bomba. Pwede. Kasi yung reinforcement, doon nila pasasabugin yon. Or, right there and there in the ambush sites, meron na silang IED. Just like what happened in sa Hulo Cathedral, sa simbahan doon, nilagyan nila ng improvised explosive device near the altar of the church, and then at the exit. Magkasunod sumabog yun. And then, yung IED din, nilagay nila sa isang motorcycle harap ng police station. Okay, pinasabog din. Okay, so IED yan. Kadalasan yan yung mga mortar na tinatawag, o yung mga tinatawag na mga grenade, kino-convert nila yan sa IED. Okay? These are examples of bombings in London. Okay? More than yung double-decker bus sa London, iniwanan din ng bomba. Dito sa Pilipinas, nangyari yan in 2000 sa Manila. Yung first LRT natin, nabomba yan. Okay? Near the Bloomington Station. Okay? So, nangyari yan December 30, Rizal Day bombing. So, many shoppers are on the LRT when it was bombed. So, yung unang papasok sa crime scene dyan, EOD, yung mga explosive ordnance personnel. Sila yung magkukolect, nare-recognize nila yung explosive device. So, kukunin nila yon. After that, papasok na yung scene of the crime operation team to recover physical evidences and body parts as well. Okay? So injuries from explosion, it may be in the form of primary blast injury that create stress wave through the skin and muscles, shattering solid bones. Okay, yung mga landmines, yan yung mga dati sa Vietnam, saka sa Cambodia, sa Laos. Meron diyang mga landmines na yung mga biktima, mga bata, naglalaro sa field, putol yung paa, napuputol yung paa dyan. And of course, it can also cause hollow organ damage. Okay? Secondary blast injuries. This is the number one source of injury and or death in explosions. Why? Yan yung mga tinatawag nating fragments from the ammunitions or yung spike terrorist bomb. Yung mga suicide vest na mga bomber, nilalagyan nila ng pako, nails, or even metal pellets, okay, glass. Yeah, these are unique IEDs. Okay? So, paglabas niyan, pagputok niyan, tatama sa mga target and even the bomber himself. Okay? Pag mamimutilate yung body yan, puputol yung ulo niyan, kamay, braso, tatama yan sa mga biktima. Malas mo na lang to. Okay? Now, injury caused by an explosion, we called it shrapnel wounds. Okay? Kaya shrapnel yan, marirecover natin yung shrapnel dun sa wounds. Pag wala tayong na-recover ng shrapnel dyan, lacerated wounds lang. Okay? So, shrapnel. Ito yung kaso na yon yung nabaril sa legs before, sa opposite niya, sa left side niya, merong 3 shrapnel wounds. And this is the shoe he was wearing at the time. Pumasok dyan. Grenade explosion to. Okay, so pasok dyan yung bala, yung shrapnel, tapos it was embedded on the left ankle of the left foot. Okay? So ito yung multiple shrapnel sa legs, or we call it peppering. And as I mentioned, sa x-ray, makikita mo yung mga embedded fragments. Parts of the bomber can be fragment that strikes the victim as well. Test for explosive TNT, diluted sodium hydroxide with an acetone will produce red wine color. RDX, it can also be positive using thymol, sulfuric acid, and ethanol, producing red rose solution. Mas lighter siya. Okay? So guess, is this an entry or an exit or a stab or an explosion injury? Okay. Any questions, guys? Meron pa pala tayong isa. Okay? Nuclear or explosion injuries, ang importante lang dito, of course, this atomic bomb or nuclear bomb explosion is caused by fission of about 100 pounds of uranium. Okay? 100 pounds of uranium and energy is equal to 1,000,000 tons of TNT. 1,000,000 tonelada ng TNT. Usually, it produces millions of pounds per square inch of gas pressure. And it's usually, the light is usually 30 times as bright as the sun during noon time. Kaya nabubulag o nagkakaroon ng cataract. Fireball diameter, 7,200 feet in 10 seconds or less. At 1 minute, it can reach a height of 4.5 miles. Ganun kabilis yan. Okay, it may be aerial type. Pinasabog yung nuclear bomb sa air, or ground sa disyerto, pinaputok, or by submarine sa the under water explosion. Okay? Now, these are what you should remember. What are the rays emitted by radioactive substances? Ito yung alpha rays, positively charged helium, very poor ang penetrating power. Beta rays, positive and negative charged electrons, they higher penetrating power. But gamma rays, these are short rays with high energy and greater penetrating power, cause much damage to the human body. Okay? Yan yung tumama kay Bruce Banner, kay Incredible Hulk. Okay? Then neutron rays uncharged and composed of highly penetrating particles. Okay? Neutron rays. Okay? Pero mas dangerous yung dalawa niya, gamma and neutron rays. Okay? General effects niyan, it can massive erythema, coma, and death. And it can also result to rapidly developing blood CA or leukemia. Okay? And then mga ulcerations or severe leukopenia. Local effects, retardation of cell division, yung desquamated and ulcerated yung skin, nagkakaroon ng endothelial necrosis sa blood vessels, yung cataract, nadidevelop sa mata, and it can cause female sterility as well as male sterility. Okay? Without loss of sexual potency. Okay? So these are effects of the long-term effects of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant disaster. Diba? After how many years, may mga ganyan. Even kahit yung mga gatas ng cattle affected, kakaroon ng mga mutation sa katawan. Okay? So, factors that are responsible for the effects of radiation, age, of course, yung extreme ages, children and elderly, bigger the dosage, more damage. The kind of radiation, yung gamma and neutron radiation are more destructive. Fractional doses, it can be little when administered fractionally. Okay? Kung madalas. Okay? Kaya kung madalas kayo na X-ray, sensitivity, muscles, connective radio resistance, while blood-forming organs are the ones affected. And of course, yung intestinal epithelium. Yun ang mga sensitive dyan. Okay? Other sources of radiation, natural, sa araw, diba? Sun, outer space, or yung mga terrestrial origin, radiothorium, series of granite rocks. Man-made, yan yung mga diagnostic X-ray, clinical nuclear pharmaceutical agents, so nuclear medicine, therapeutic radiation apparatus, and then radiation sources used by military. Gases, liquids, solids, which can be emit vapor, emit leakages, and solids from inert dust particles. Okay. So, any questions? Wala kayong mga tanong That ends my presentation, guys. Kung may tanong kayo. 450. Any lesson, may natutuhan ba kayo o nagre-review lang kayo? Walang tanong sa gunshot wounds, explosion injuries, and nuclear explosion injuries. Okay. At 4:40, you will have your examination. Dito rin sa same, sa Canvas. Okay? 10. Okay. Okay, your quiz is very easy on 20 items. So, first quiz nyo, graded quiz, I like that heart. Okay. So, kung walang question, we'll just wait for the opening of your Canvas.